Howdy gang, this is Killer Ginger 1. Welcome back to our Warhammer Total War Let's Play as the Legions of Nagash. Where we left off last time, we were right on the precipice of fighting the battle of Nagash against the Metastorm Horde. They got warp fire throwers, they got plague claw catapults, rat ogres, stuff to keep us on our toes. Their front line isn't too terrible except for these plague monks, but we want to especially be on the lookout for their nasty wizard lord. Metastorm himself brings a cavalcade of dangerous spells. Very terrifying. We will see how this goes. I will see you on the battle map. Alrighty now, so awkward deployment, but we ran out of space. We are going to use this valley in between these peaks here, these orc idols, to careen most of the enemy forces towards us. Now the enemy has a lot of terrifying units. These plague claws are going to do a tremendous amount of damage to our densely packed horde units, and another big threat is of course the warp fire throwers. Crazy flamethrower boys. As you can tell, they don't sound too sane, and their teeth, they don't have a good dental plan. That's why most of them wear gas masks, not to keep the gas out, but to keep their morning breath in. We have set our bats on the rear of the enemy forces. We want to flank them and do as much damage as we can, interrupt their range units, because that's going to be the most damage to us. Obviously, they don't really have any terrifying infantry except for these plague monks, which haven't seen a shower in about 3 years. We already started with our first army ability, which was Legion Barrage. Didn't do a whole lot of damage, but it did scare the warp throwers a little bit. Our Karen race are going to sit here on the side and the flank. They are ethereal, which means that they have a decent amount of physical resistance unless the enemy has magical attacks, which unfortunately for the Ratmen, they do not. We have taken some nasty hits, and look at that leadership drop. We need to silence those plague claw catapults as soon as possible. Our forces are just begging to be bombarded. I mean, look at all that damage they've done. We are going to try and answer in kind with our own bone throwers, doing a tremendous amount of counter battery fire, but deciding to take out the local foliage instead of the actual artillery pieces themselves, as you do. Our bats now, taking that as a sign, are going to go in. The enemy Grey Seer is going to respond with a Plague Breath, but he missed and hit his units primarily. We are going to focus on these bats right here. They're going to immediately start getting very sad. The warp fire throwers are going to fire into this cavalcade of a mess. We are just sending these bats to their death, but that is exactly what they were built for. We scared away one plague claw catapult. The second plague claw catapult is having a bad time. I think we managed to rout both of them at the same time, and in the meantime, the battle has joined in the center. Our bony boys are now flinging rats across the battlefield, getting some warp fire into their ranks. Not exactly the best time to be having that green goo. Does not feel good on you. That's some morning, that's some heartburn right there. Drinking too much Mountain Dew at night, I guess. We still continue to hate the foliage, love the rat. Our artillery is definitely throwing it for this battle. They have done a significant amount of damage there, but we are going to try and focus on their warp fire throwers with our archers, see what damage we can do. The enemy line has already routed. We have lost a considerable amount of health on our soldiers. In fact, some of our spearmen now are going to start crumbling. Hopefully, we'll be able to heal them soon enough that they don't crumble entirely. Our bone throwers are going to chase the routing ratmen as much as possible. On the meantime, we are trying to flank them with our Crane race, but they are keeping those plague monks in the battle. They are doing an excellent amount of holding there. Our Cairn race just do not have enough to break through. They're not doing too much damage, but they're not breaking through, which is keeping us from being able to flank them. We're just going to have to stuck it out. Meanwhile, our archers are going to be getting hit by those rat ogres. Fortunately, they're weak enough that they're going to try and rout after this. Still having to break through the enemy. I'm trying to get my Vampire Lord into the fight, chasing down the Grey Seer before he can cause even more damage to our units. He is just blasting us with his stinky his stinky spells of evil unwashedness. I can't remember what the spell... What is that spell called? What spell does he have there? Sticky UI, gosh darn it. There we go. If I learn how to use it. No, that is the wrong. I clicked on you. Hello? Pestilent Breath, that's what it is, and Pestilent it is. We have managed to rout the majority of their forces, and with that, the Skaven have turned, tucked tail, and run, leaving Nagash safe once more. A very chaotic battle indeed, very hard to keep track of, even as a camera operator. We will return to the campaign map now and see what the results of this battle were. Alrighty then, those Plague Claws did some nasty damage to us, not to mention that their Gracier did a number on our troops as well, but we have prevailed. The only troops we lost were the Bats from the garrison, which I think are acceptable losses. Our Bone Throwers actually did a lot of work. I was very impressed. I'm going to have to use that triple shot a lot more often. Of course, Nagash did nothing because we wanted to keep them in the back line just in case those rats decided to use some of their spawnable units. With that, I think I'm going to return captives. I'm a benevolent evil vampire lord after all, and also I need the money to make sure I don't collapse into excruciating debt.
No, Gracie, never wrong.
Our lord needs to now level up. I think he's going to start with campaign movement range. Are we strong enough to defeat?
Destroy them.
I think we are, and that's going to be a close victory. For the sake of getting along with the episode, I think we're just going to auto-resolve. We're going to eat these casualties. They're not too hard to re-recruit, and besides, our budget right now is not doing too well. We're going to take more money, because this is going to be a lord that just sits on his rear end. Oh, he also has a Ravenous Dead. Very good. Then he's going to have a lot of zombies to defend the garrison with.
My bloodline calls.
Ray's dead. Fill that retinue up with zombies, some archers, and I think that's going to be an acceptable battle group for right now to defend our keep. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. I don't know if we're going to spend that money just yet. We want to make sure we maintain a balance. The Ogre Kingdoms, surprisingly enough, Thunder Guts, are just chilling. Just having a grand old time in Bitter Bay. They set up their campers, they're getting ready for their beach holiday. Lovely fishing grounds, definitely one of the best. Hopefully they're acceptable neighbors and they don't leave their beer cans on my front lawn. We'll see how well that turns out. Meanwhile, in the east, we have to turn our eyes to Nagash himself. Where we left off last time, these guys used up all their movement, so we have to just end the turn and see how it goes. Of course, I completely forgot that we need to give ourselves another skill point. I think we are going to do upkeep for right now. Every little bit helps. And by 3% of a army that only costs us 896, that's not a whole lot, but we'll try. We will try. Our goal now is to start spreading out into the lands of Khemri, the Tomb Kings, and to get as much... Oh, Manfred's been busy. That'll be good when we subjugate him. The less we have to deal with Khemri themselves, the better. Khemri, if you don't know, is the main Tomb King faction, led by Settra and his many titles. I think... Yep. Oh my goodness. Pyramid of King Far, plus 5% income faction-wide. We'll definitely want that. Unfortunately for us, we don't have growth. Is there anything that'll give us growth? We might have to substitute in one of these nasty... Well, we can spend the money for right now. Get that casualty replenishment rate for our legions, and to get that growth up. Hopefully, give it enough time, and we'll be able to replace this with that pyramid. Yeah. We're going to skip that because we can't afford it. We're currently running a nasty deficit, and we are going to see what King Nectanebo is going to do with his legion. Hopefully he attacks us when we get the river crossing, because that'll be a fun fight. Hopefully. I'm going to end the turn and see what we got going on here. So our goal, of course, is to take Numas, which is going to be difficult. Oh, Manfred wants a non-aggression pact. We will accept it. Can we get some money out of him? Yes, we can. $100. Why not? He's a poor bloke, but he's stronger than we are. So for right now, we're going to be friends with him because Manfred, in the End Times lore, which is when the Warhammer Fantasy world blows up because reasons, he was the one who eventually betrayed us and joined Nagash. Nagash being the big bad of the End Times. And the third faction that was fighting, the Order faction, the Chaos factions, and the Tomb Kings. King Nectanabo decided to leave Numas, but he did not ascend to our position. I think he's a little bit smarter than that, but hopefully the new plan will be to get Archon to siege Numas. If he can reach it, he cannot reach it. We're going to have to stage him for that. The right hand of Arcan, that's good, we need that. That's fine. Oh, well, we're not going to get growth at all for quite a bit, unfortunately. Gave our White King a skeleton steed, that's fine. He's got points to earn. What can we give Archon? The block. Oh wow. Got a lot of decent range units in this army. I think we are going to give him probably another spell, maybe life leeching, give him some extra. Ooh, that'll be useful. When casting a spell, that'll be good, because he's going to be casting a lot of spells, including Nagash himself. So, we're going to give our White King more attack. The more melee attack he has, the more successful he is on his hits with his animations. I want to make sure he does a lot of those.
My master will return.
Part of me... Well, we're going to bring... We're going to bring him up. Going to bring him up. Going to give him some more bowmen, some more spearmen. Some doggos would probably be nice too. Recruit all that. And we are going to get ready. Might look at replacing... Doom Riders are free. What can we get rid of in this army for those Doom Riders? Because I think those guys will be very useful. Having a... Oh... But 450 upkeep. I'm not sure I can justify that expense right now. We're balancing the budget, and right now we are well buried in the red. Nagash we can't upgrade. Let's take a look at our tech. A Morghast Archive will spawn near the Mortark, or where the Mortark has spawned. Ooh, these are our bread and butter. These hero units are insane. I can't wait to show you. And unfortunately, it's going to take 5 turns, but hopefully in that time, we'll have conquered a bit more territory and have a better budget for our legions. Of course, we haven't moved. We're going to wait. We're going to do... In fact, you know what? What I might do is I might put him in ambush stance. We can see if putting these boys in ambush stance will tempt King Nekaneb. King Porky the Pig over there in Numas to come and attack us at Qatar. If we can trigger an ambush, that'd be just as good as a choke point. No chance to build anything. We're saving what little cash we have. Surprisingly, we haven't heard a response from Khorne yet. Skarbrand has decided not to come down from his bloody marshes to attack us, which is all the better for us because we cannot respond to that right now. Him and his bloodletters, are well and truly head and shoulders beyond our capabilities right now. Oh, Thunderguts is taking a peek into our mountain range, wanting to know what all the blue light and screams are all about. Oh, We did not. Okay, so we did not trigger him to move out. He decided to take a brief dip in the Red River and run back to his camp, which is alright with us because we can handle a siege. Spent multiple turns in settlement. Okay, that's fine. That'll be good for us in the long run because that'll balance out the negative Skaven corruption we're getting right now, which is at 100. Fortunately, now, control is stabilized. That crackdown's going to go away, but we're going to glean just enough military control to get ourselves in the positive, which is what we want. So now we've reached equilibrium. We're going to enjoy those lovely research points. And, oh man, now that it is 100%, we're going to get even more research rate, which will be perfect. Because, like I said before, the more Mortarks we unlock, the worse our research rate becomes. So that right there has softened the blow for at least 3 more Mortarks we can acquire. We're going to have to get the Mortark of Knights so we can unlock Manfred von Karstein, get all his fun business. Kemri's going to be a delicious settlement to claim because it's going to have that gold. We definitely want that 1,000 income. That's going to be exactly what we need. So hopefully we can get that sooner rather than later. Meanwhile, since the Kingdom of Qatar, or the Kingdom of Numas, sorry, has decided not to sally out, we are going to take the fight to them. We are going to take Nagash's force, and we are going to take Archon's force, and we are going to swap a few units around to get the best of both worlds. So we're going to give Archon the zombies and the just for right now. We're gonna swap these units back around and balance them out. What we want to do is we want to get a decent army set up for a siege. We want that siege to be as effective as possible. So we're going to swap as many units as we can to get a decent siege stack, because this is going to be the first wave. This wave right here is going to eat the ranged units and run interference, but this legion right here is going to do the majority of the damage, which is what we're going to lead with. So we're going to send him out to start the siege. And with that, we're going to put down a... We're not going to get battering rams. Battering rams take too long, and they're open, which means that the unit's going to take damage. We're going to get the siege towers built. We're going to spend 2 turns building enough siege towers to get some of our better units, maybe our guard units, to sally out onto the walls. Meanwhile, Archon is going to move up behind Nagash and provide support. And with that plan, we are going to end turn. We gotta do this quickly. As quick as we can, because we are running out of money. And the sooner we can get this siege done, the better. In fact, we might just take 2 towers and Lord of the Rings style and see what we can get accomplished with that. Being as this is a low tier settlement in the early part of the game, I doubt they're going to have enough defenses to warrant a whole bunch of siege towers. Or instead, what they're going to do is they're going to sally out, which works in our favor. A Pyrrhic victory. We're going to see how well that turns out for them. They got a lot of low-tier skelly trash, but that's fine because, like I said, our main stack is now all these mean green fighting machines right over here. Our Reapers. The Tomb Scorpion is going to do great so long as we keep them away from the Tomb Guard. They do have their Ushapti, so we got to watch out for that. They don't have any Winds of Magic. We have all the Winds of Magic, which is beneficial for us. The only thing we got to worry for is their stacks of archers and their chariots and those Tomb Guard. Those Tomb Guard are going to be nasty. We're going to see how this battle goes, and I will see you all on the battle map. Alrighty, welcome to the 5th battle of the campaign. We have now got ourselves a massive horde of the Kingdom of Numas, their last stand. Let's see how well they do. Now, our battle lines have been drawn. Fortunately for us, we have reinforcements on the way, and we have our best units at the fore. We are keeping our Nagash guard and our Nagash guard with halberds in the rear to answer the Ushabti. I was afraid the Ushabti would do what it did last time and dump straight into our backline. We will see how well that turns out. Meanwhile, our bone throwers are going to open up and answer the enemy forces with a barrage of bones and skulls. They do not like that too much. They're going to try and dodge, duck and weave as they come across. We probably should have advanced it a little bit and get them stuck in the river. Maybe give them a melee penalty or something like that. We're going to focus mostly on their ranged units. I'm not too scared about the Bony Boys' front line. What I am worried about is their heavy tomb guard, halberd, and chariot flank. Those chariots are going to prove to be an absolute headache this battle, as I am completely overburdened with managing the front line and our horrible leadership for our units. Of course, King Nektanebo, Tiki Tembo, is crossing the river with his troops right now, confident that they will give us the boot and reclaim their homeland. Of course, we're not going to let them. We're going to use this river, this waterfall to our left with a basin above it as a bulwark on the left flank to keep them funneled in. The AI in this game loves to just do this noodle spaghetti stretch line, which for me I have not found, besides corner camping, a decent run for it. We're going to use the Abyssal Swarm now to bonsai into that horde of units and do as much damage as possible. Make them regret ever crossing Nagash. Nagash must reign supreme. You must serve. So now we have spawned our first unit of Black Knights, and I was hoping that their range would be a little bit better, but it is not. We're going to send them forward, hopefully, to get into the archers. We're going to see how well that does. Unfortunately, I think they got caught. They turned away at just the last second and are refusing to follow orders. They want to take out the Nehekaran warriors first, and the battle is joined. Of course, our bone golems are going to do a lot of damage and a lot of work. Our Tomb Scorpion is definitely going to be scaring the enemy. And here we have wonderful chariot on chariot action. We're going to try and keep those chariots from our back line. We're going to see how well that goes. Obviously, the AI is much better at micro than I am. We're going to have our Bony Boy Reapers taking out their Nehekaran warriors. And of course, oh, he lost his head and he lost his life. A sad day to be a skeleton Reaper, but his friends will avenge him. The front line has been joined. Skeletons on skeletons. Who will win? Doesn't matter. We don't know. Of course, the Tomb Kings have army abilities where the more souls die in a battle, the more bonuses they get. Of course, they're gaining health right now. That is the first stage. The final stage is summoning that annoying unit of Ushabti. We have decided that the left flank is going to hold. They have a massive pile of Bony Boys. We are trying to get an answer to their archers, but of course their archers are still firing at our units. Our bone throwers are targeting them primarily. Our doggos on the right flank are now suffering, crumbling. They are not happy to be here. They do not like being poked with spears. Neither do our chariots, but our chariots are made of stern stuff. We are sending Nagash guard. We're sending the old guard forward to hopefully catch those chariots and to rout off that flanking force. We'll see how well that does in a minute. We have launched another Abyssal Swarm through our ranks, and they have decided to spawn their Ushabti in the back of our center. Not exactly a good pick. We're going to send Nagash in. He's going to get excited. He's going to want to stab these Bony Boys, these constructs, with his blue sword. And I don't know exactly what he's going to do. He's just going to sit there and scream at him, tell him to get off his lawn, I suppose. We're going to focus fire with our archers here shortly to try and take those guys out as soon as possible. We'll bring up another unit of Nagash guard, and those chariots have managed to escape our tomb guard and to go right into the back of our archers. Poor Nagash got beat down. He is not the strongest kid in the schoolyard. He did not like that. But he's going to try his best to do as much as he can to those Nagash guard. They're starting to break through in the center. And of course, we have spawned skeleton swordsmen to answer that, to patch our hole in our line. The stone golems are holding as best they can in the front line. Their archers are still raining down chaos upon us. The front line has is still grinding away. Those chariots are causing destruction on our line. What we haven't seen yet is this little focal point right here, this left flank. That is inconsequential. I should have probably brought some units back to answer this. These chariots are going to be a pain in the butt, and our Nagash guard, unfortunately, are just too slow. Didn't do enough leg day. We're trying to respond with our archers, but it just does not seem to be doing enough. Meanwhile, their tomb guards are on the right flank fighting our skeleton reapers. It is just cavalcade of destruction. Our Tomb Scorpion has decided to take a little nap. He wants a rest. He's been in the sun for too long. He's enjoying that heat lamp right there. But fortunately, we don't necessarily need him at this point because our bulwark of our front line is still strong enough. Meanwhile, Archon and the White King are just having a nice little back-to-back there, enjoying their horses. They're going to try and beat up on Tiki Tiki Tembo while they can. Meanwhile, he has 688 health left. He is not doing too well. Archon the Black has summoned Scarabs on the left flank again. These little nasty bug critters are going to do what they can to tear down the skeleton spearmen as quickly as they can. Tiki Tiki Tembo is going to take one more hit, and his shield goes flying, which means he is dead. And with that, the rest of his army is going to be extremely sad at his passing, and they're just going to go take a bony nap in the sands. They're going to go to sleep now, and that seals the deal for us. Fortunately, we didn't take that many losses. Our artillery has crumbled. We're going to see if we manage to get the dead to rise again and save that unit. I hope we do, because that bone thrower has been with us for a little bit now and is a very useful unit. With the death of the Lord of the Kingdom of Numas, the rest of his troops will go with him shortly, and that will conclude this battle. It was a very chaotic battle, very gruff. We lost a decent amount of troops from that battle, nearly a fifth of our force. Definitely the AI bringing their best foot forward with that chariot unit. Fortunately, we will try and avoid that in the future. And with that, the Kingdom of Numas is destroyed, and we claim a full province for Nagash. We are going to see how that affects the battle map. Alrighty, gang, that was a brutal battle. A absolutely brutal one. Fortunately for us, using the Dead Rise Again ability, I did not lose my bone throwers, which I was very horribly a horrible commander of that battle. I allowed them to get charged in the rear by those chariots. Those chariots did a lot of work for the enemy army. Unfortunately, we lost our own chariots. For the most part, they can be replaced very quickly, and chariots are not necessarily the best unit I've found. They're very difficult to control, and especially for one like myself who struggles with micromanagement, it's not necessarily the best option. But pretty decent casualties, 4-to-1 ratio. We still have plenty of troops kicking around to continue our campaign. With that, we are going to occupy the settlement. We took a lot of post-battle loot, and with the capture of said settlement, we've reduced our income, our deficit down by quite a bit. We're starting to make a bit of buku bucks. Fortunately for us now, I believe we can now issue a commandment. That's very good. We got a banner from that battle. Destroyed the faction. Skaven denial. That's hilarious. We're going to get a lot of that. And they still hit us with negative growth. That is rough. Very rough. Spell shield. Establish trade. I don't know if we're going to be able to trade with any of the factions. Maybe Manfred. So as you can see, with Numas, we get a tier 3 settlement out of it. It's not great. Not terrible. Fortunately for us, we don't have to... Ooh, okay. So we can negate our research rate debuffs with these Towers of Dar. That'll be very good. Of course, we want to have the 2 growth buildings, the growth and the upkeep reduction. That'll be very useful for us. Ooh, what is that? Ancient Catacombs. So we can get Nagash, we can get Nagash Legion units, we can get Vampire Count units. Ooh, Depth Guard. Depth Guard are pretty insane. We can get Vampire Count units, and we can get Tomb King units. Alright, very good. Only one can be built in a settlement, so we have to theme our recruitment. That'll be An interesting call. We'll have to see how that turns out. And the Pyramid of Prince Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun? He canned the nuts. A lot more control, a lot more casualty replenishment rate, Winds of Magic Power Reserve. Now that'll be a good thing to stack because we used a lot of spells that game. We're going to start off with the infrastructure buildings, get that on the road, get that started. Hopefully soon we'll be able to replace this with that other legendary landmark. That's the one we want. That'll be very good. Income from all buildings will be essential for these massive legions we got and these constant front lines. We now have a front line with Scarbrand and his lovely leather hut in the middle of the swamplands. You can tell he's having a good time because of all the screaming he's doing. He's a very kinky fellow, that Scarbrand. Wears no clothes but a crotch guard, I guess. A very obscene fellow. We are going to continue our move to the Black Pyramids. They have a decent garrison, and they had a 20 unit stack. Meanwhile, let's do a little bit of diplomacy. Everyone hates us. Camry's improving. They liked us a little bit. But we are going to now try and get some diplomacy going. 66 bucks a turn. Well, we can't have that. Can I join a war of yours? Can I join your war against Camry? Will you let me? We really want military access. Can we get it? That is going to cost us all of our money and put us into crippling debt, so no, we are not going to do that. We're just going to get that trade agreement to improve relations, get a little bit more income. Fortunately for us, Camry is weak. They share a southern border with us. And they're going to be a faction we have to go to war with anyway. So, as you do, as a historically excellent move, you start a war on two fronts. But, hopefully it pans out a little bit better for our faction. I don't know how much better it can get, but it can always get worse. And fortunately, we haven't hit that point yet. Now, Nagash is going to split his troops up again, because I promised he would. We're going to give those halberds back. In fact, yeah, we're going to give the halberds back. Take some of these zombies off him. We're going to give him back his Nehekara warriors. Get some spearmen. Give him back his archers. Gonna take another zombie for a tomb scorpion, and that'll round out the trade. So now both armies are equally capable.
The heat is irrelevant.
I can't imagine you'd feel too much heat just being a bony body.
As my bones.
Oh, now he's talking about his old bones. He's a no. He just shut up.
As my lord's design.
Oh my goodness, he just wants to keep talking about his bones. He's that weird uncle at the parties you don't talk to. We're gonna give him some extra zombies to fill out his front line. With that battle, we have gained 2 more skill points. The Grave Call. That's gonna summon a crap ton of units. We might use that. I want to get the Soul Stealer. I want to see how well that does. Breath of Darkness is absolutely insane. That heal per second is just insane, man. Heals injured units before resurrecting. I can't believe how good that is. We're gonna get that Abyssal Swarm again. Good against flying. Okay, so if I targeted a flying unit with that, it might spawn bats instead of dogs, I presume. We got a decent income. I think we can cushion the blow, especially when we start getting our income up. I'm going to focus on... Ooh, that'll be useful. Chasm of Souls. Don't necessarily need the... that'll be useful. Yeah, we're gonna try and build as many income buildings as we can. Try and get that net zero going. We can afford now. We have about 5 turns of income left. We're gonna afford that upgraded summon because that'll increase our income. We're gonna go from 300 to 400. That'll be a good growth spurt for us. Plus, we're going to get even bigger garrison and even more building slots, which will get the ball rolling even faster. As far as we're concerned, we're not going to worry about... Ooh. No, we don't have enough money for that. Commandment available. We are going to focus on Soul Harvest, perhaps. I like that.
My master will return.
And we're going to leave Archon on Channeling. Channeling doesn't give us any debuffs except for campaign movement range, and it gives us Winds of Magic Power Reserve, which will be useful because we are bleeding Winds of Magic. Does that apply to... It does. Very good. So Archon's going to be giving both our armies extra magic to use against the enemy. So we are going to give our White King even more training because we want our troops to have better leadership. You can see I'm very, very nervous with the leadership of these units, constantly wanting to rout. I mean, their leadership is nothing. 37. A stiff summer breeze can cause these guys to crumble and fall apart, which is not good for us, considering we want to be evil, bony boys that take over the world. Your henchmen have to be a little bit more terrifying than that, but we are going to end the turn and see what happens. I think this next turn here is going to be the end of this episode. It's getting to be a little bit long. I'm trying to keep these relatively small so that way it doesn't drone on and you guys get desensitized by the content we are creating. Maybe going to war with Khemri was not a good idea. It looks like Manfred has lost even another settlement. We might have to go help him. Thunderguts has precariously upset the neighbors. Silicon the Contagious has started coughing up COVID on Bitter Bay. Probably explains where the water's from. We're going to see how well that pans out. Maybe we'll be able to capitalize on his misfortune and take Bitter Bay for ourselves, completing our home province. We have finally broke even. Congratulations, we balanced the budget. We're now making $46 a turn. With that, we'll be able to afford 2 hot dogs at Costco at this rate. We have earned a banner of swiftness. And, yeah, we're going to... A lot of notifications there.
Only the living sweat.
I'm going to send Archon over to peek at what the situation is at the Springs of Life. Oh my. Okay, that's going to be a battle for the ages. Cetra the Imperishable has a War Sphinx, which, if you don't know, is a terrifying construct. This construct will be able to absolutely tear through our lines. Fortunately, the halberds might be a decent enough response to that. We're going to start, hopefully...
As my bones.
How's our garrison doing? We have a bit of a garrison going. The good thing about this mod is it gives our settlements a very generous garrison. I mean, a tier 1 settlement has 13, 12 units. Very lovely. We're going to take both armies, get them together. Hopefully that'll keep Cetra from bonsai charging us from the other side of the river. That is a lot of chariots. This is a nightmare for someone like myself who doesn't know how to do 2 things at once, but we will see how well we turn out. Hopefully, it looks like Manfred's dead, honestly. Khemri is Khemri his last settlement? Khemri is not his last settlement, so hopefully Manfred's kicking it around there in the southern parts of Khemri. Preferably the Badlands. He starts with these 2 territories, but we never know. Kind of surprises me how he was able to take Khemri from Cetra, but probably because Cetra was too busy kicking in his can down here in the south. We're going to see what Cetra does this turn and probably wrap it up here as a cliffhanger. Cetra has so many titles. There's a YouTube video that's absolutely hilarious where it just goes over every single title that Cetra the Imperishable has given himself, and it's like 4.5, 5 minutes long. It's hilarious. Can't remember who uploaded it, but you have to look it up. Oh my goodness, he sacked his own capital. Interesting fellow. I think we're going to take him on the river crossing. I think that's what we're going to do. That's the only way, after that siege, that's the only way we're going to get him in this weakened state. Hopefully that'll be enough to turn the tides in our favor. Waiting for these turns. CA has done an incredible job with the turn times. Made them very quick indeed. That's fortunate for us because I remember the old days of Empire Total War where you play the Darth mod and you had the Ottoman Empire that if you didn't kill within 50 turns would just end your game because it would take literal hours for them to go one unit at a time across Constantinople. It was very unfortunate.
You are not him.
Calm down, Archon. I am him. Do you see me? I'm your best bony boy over here behind you. I even gave you a pony to ride on into battle. All right. So he's going to sit there. And we're going to attack. Ooh, we're going to get the Kemrian garrison with us. So we're going to have allies. Is he going to run away? He is going to run away. Am I going to be able to chase him down? No, I'm not. We are going to try. Well, we're going to fall back into Kemri right now. His garrison is nothing, and with that we are going to see what we can do here. Going to get even more income because we need it desperately. The rights. Oh, we can increase our. This is what we wanted. Alrighty now. So this is where we needed the warpstone at. So obviously we have 10 warpstone. With that, we can increase the amount of armies we have. Our army capacity, which is very fortunate for us. I don't know what our army capacity is right now. It is 5 now. So we can get 5 whole armies out on the board, which will be very useful for us because we definitely want to be a horde. We want to start spraying out as far as we can, taking as much territory as we can. But that'll have to save it for another episode. We will see what Cetra does in the end turn next time. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day.